I wonder who the oldest is in this group.
Hello and welcome everybody. We are live, but nobody is on yet, so we're good. So we're just waiting, and I'm untangling myself. I'm sorry, guys. But I did get tangled in my podcasting stuff. I'm going to have to leave it here. It's not going to work. Okay, so got to start recording. Welcome if you're just joining us. My name is Evelyn with Childcare Business Professionals, and my podcast is not recording, so let me figure out why that is, and we will get going as soon as I figure out why we're not recording. I'm sorry for those of you online, I've just got to get this. I am multitasking, and we're still not recording. Okay, sorry guys, technical difficulties with my multitasking here today. And if it doesn't work again, we'll just skip it. We won't record. Yep, stop picking this up. Okay, I guess I won't be multitasking after all. So welcome if you're just joining us. Again, I'm Evelyn Knight. I'm here with Christine Mailer, right? Yes, I always want to say it wrong. And Christina Richmond from TLG Financial Foundations, or TLG, is that right?
Correct.
Yes. And I've been talking to you guys all week about them coming on. They are my financial team, basically, my financial advisors and the team behind me that helps me. I've talked to you guys a lot about how they've taught me the things I bring to you. And I've just taken what they've taught me and made it childcare specific. So I wanted them to come in and talk to you. If you're on now, you can type in the comments if you can hear us okay. I don't usually have the phone so far away from me. So if you are having a hard time hearing us, just type it in the comments, and also just pop in and say hi as you go. I think I'm going to bring it up on my laptop too, so we can see you guys a little bit, and we can chat and read the comments as they come in. So today we're talking, I wanted to bring them on to help everybody really just get a hold of what's going on. And we're all scared right now. We're all in a mental funk right now. And you guys know my goal every day is to bring you out of that funk and try to help just bring you hope and let you know that this isn't the end for us. We are going to make it as long as we work together and we have a positive mindset. So we're going to talk about mindset. Christine is really the one who got me on the path to change my mindset and to really just get me to see things from an owner's perspective. So, Christine, tell me a little bit about mindset. When you first started working with me, I know we've talked about how different my mindset is now than it was then. So what kind of changes, what shifts have I made that make it, I guess, easier for me to work with now, and also just make it that I know that I'm going to make it through this?
Well, one, you got out of your own way. So a lot of the time we create resistance and things for ourselves that create roadblocks for us to achieve or grow as individuals. And I think when you started to really embrace the understanding of your numbers, where you weren't afraid of the numbers anymore, and then you were able to take the concepts and the mindset and shift into your personal world, you know. Right. An example is, you know, we spend money, right? And now when we learn more about the numbers and understand the numbers and have a positive attitude around them, we start to find ways where we can really save money. And an example, a fun story is, you know, now when I go to Costco, after using our systems and processes for years, we've been working together for 4 years now.
Right.
And I'll go to Costco to buy groceries, and then I'll say to myself, I don't really need that this week. I don't need that this week. I don't need that. And so we're really just stretching our money out, our cash flow out for longer periods of time. And that's what I want to encourage all of you to do right now, is to go through and find ways of cutting costs. Go through and you know, ask your lenders or your banks if you can postpone on payments, things like that. And we'll talk more about that as we get into the financial side. But yeah, this woman here is night and day, a whole completely different business owner. And she understands now that she's going to have an operator, you know, a director, owner hat but
Right.
she's also got to have the business owner hat.
Right.
And so that's what I've seen.
Well, that they're two different things, which I really didn't
Yeah.
understand. When I met you, I didn't realize that the job of the owner and the job of the director are so different, and they're both equally important. And I think it really helped me to differentiate what my responsibilities as the two were and what my role needs to be and when I need to wear each hat. So, and Christina, you too, you've worked with me actually, I met you before I met Christine.
Mm-hmm.
And so what do you see, what do you think is the difference in that mindset, and why do you think it is so important?
The differences that I've seen is when something happens to you, you're not taking it personal and collapsing around it. You are growing and being optimistic and pushing past all of that and changing your mindset in that way where your things aren't happening to you.
Right.
They're happening around you, and you're adapting to that and moving forward.
Right. And I think you make a really good point that it's not collapsing. And I realize now that the worst thing we can do in this situation is just draw back and just let this stuff paralyze us, right? Because that is when bad things happen to our businesses. And it's one of the things I'm saying all the time now is we have to be proactive instead of reactive.
There's a lot of opportunity here right now. Opportunity to spend time with our families. Opportunity to focus on our businesses and really, every day we work in our businesses. You guys, you're out there in the trenches with those little ones all day long. And you don't take that time to really work on the business. And I think that's very important.
Right. Yeah. No, and that's a great way to look at it too, is that we do have a lot of opportunity right now. So instead of letting this cripple us, we need to see, instead of just focusing too on just all the negativity right now, there's so much negativity. We really need to focus on what can we do? How can we turn this into a growing experience? We can take this and not necessarily, I can't say make it a positive, but we can make it turn out for the best for us, right? We can seize the opportunity.
Right. Yeah, use the time to prepare for those children coming back. They'll be back. There's no question.
Right.
We've all been through so much in our lifetimes. This is just one more thing for all of us to pull together and get through.
Right.
Another thing also is the confidence that that's shining through on you right now. Like before, the confidence wasn't there, and when we'd have our meetings, it was, all negative, really.
Right.
And now it's, what can we do to make this better? What can we do to just having that confidence in the steps that you're taking to keep your family safe and to move forward as a business owner.
Well, and speaking of the confidence, I think that's really one of the reasons I'm doing well with my staff right now. Because a lot of owners that I've talked to that I've been chatting with online are really struggling with their staff not wanting to be on board through all of this. And I think because I'm able to come here and I'm confident, I'm positive, my staff really hasn't given me any pushback. It's something I have. So I think that's also really important when it comes to employee management, having that confidence and being a leader, stepping up to be a leader. Whereas before, I would have hid. I wouldn't have even come in. I would have just stayed home and just hoped everything went away.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really big, important, and that's all mindset. That's all taking care of control.
I remember that shift when you pulled your staff together, and what it was is you had more clarity and vision for your business.
Yes.
And you've always had vision.
Right.
But you had more clarity. And when you had that clarity, you brought them in and you got them on the same page with you, and they can now see where you were going.
Right.
And you brought us in with them. We had that staff meeting with
all
them
together.
And we all were on the same page.
Right. Well, and that actually brings me to another point that I wanted to talk about is how I'm able to bring you guys in. I think one of the biggest things too is for those of you guys watching, we need a team. Before I had Christine and Christina, I felt so alone. I was I really was an island. I really didn't feel like there was anyone there to support me, to be there for me. And part of the reason I'm coming on every single day and doing these live presentations is because I was there. I know how you feel out there. I know that you feel so alone. So I figured if I can come online and be with you guys together live every day through this time, it will be a way for you not to feel alone. Even if you watch the playback, whatever, it's just a way that you're not going to be alone. And having this team And I can tell you when I came to that realization was back in November. We were attacked on social media. My center it was a really bad, vicious attack on social media. It went all over the city we're in. And normally I would have just really, I don't know, I would have really let it just overcome me. But I realized in that moment that I wasn't alone. I called both of you guys both, you know, even though you're my financial team, I was still able to call you and talk to you about, like, these people are attacking me on social media. What do I do? How do I respond? And even though, like, you told me at one point, you know what to do, I just didn't, I don't know, I guess it just was having the confidence to do it on my own, and just having someone to hear me, not being alone, just having someone that I knew, yes, to bounce the idea off of, to process it, and knowing that I wasn't in it alone. So
and to validate what you were thinking, you know, the way you were going to handle it was okay. It was a good way to do it.
Absolutely, to validate that this is what I have, my approach, and just saying, yes, you've got, you know, sometimes we just don't have the confidence in ourselves to do it on our own, and just hearing from someone else to say, yes, this is the right thing to do this. It really just helps, and also just being heard. It just helped me incredibly that I had somebody who I knew was on my side, who was backing me up, who was outside of the situation. Because I mean, and you guys know, there's some times where I haven't even been able to really talk to my husband about it. So that is where it really helped me out. And let's see, we do have a comment. Let me see if I can see it really quick. And phone is kind of far from us, so it's kind of hard for me to see you guys. So I'm sorry about the delay on that. So as I'm getting there, I'm just going to keep going. And can you see him from there?
Yeah, it's Arlene. She's my favorite mentor and lifeline.
Hi, Arlene. Nice.
Hi, Arlene.
Hi.
We love you.
Arlene also works with the team. She is, and where is Arlene located? Pennsylvania. So for those of you guys watching, just in the, like, this, our team can actually work with people as far as Pennsylvania, and you still have that connection and that support. So I know that those of you watching, you came here to talk about money, though. So I am going to shift us into money. I just, you know, I start every video with mindset because, like I said yesterday, mindset is the foundation. If you're going to make it through this, you have to have the mindset to make it through, or we're not going to survive. That's where we have to start. So that's why I like to start every one of these. So we will shift into money, and let's talk about just that recovery. And I know that, like, you know, you guys told we can make it. We just have to do what we need to do. And before we hopped on here, we went through my center's financials. We went through to make sure I'm cutting enough, make sure, you know, that we can survive, and all the steps that I needed to take. So let's talk a little bit about what you just had me do to make sure that I was cutting enough to survive.
Well, your payroll and your direct costs, supplies, materials, food costs, things like that, they're going to go directly hand in hand with your income. So as your income's coming down, those are going to come down with it. So we look to see what we really needed, you know, to get through the next month or two, and what costs were coming down. Now, you can also contact the banks and ask them to postpone payments on your loans, vehicles, things like that. I have an exercise for all of you to go do right after this meeting or process. And I want you to do is go and look at your financials, look at your profit and loss, and go down each line item and drill down to it and find out what you can reduce, right, replace, or remove right away. If you don't have the greatest financials right now, go to a bank statement, go down your vendor list, whatever. But look through there. What don't I need? Look through your apps, your dues and subscriptions. So I have all these people, you know, user-based apps, and you don't have the users right now. Cut down the number of users. All kinds of things. The idea is that you're going to stretch your cash as long as you can. Preserve it as long as you can. Okay. As people go on unemployment, make sure they're filing for unemployment. We're waiting to see if business owners can file for unemployment. I'm waiting for that.
Right.
That you know, green light for that.
Right.
And what else can we do? We talked about not only cutting your costs,
but even like a car payment, you know, can you skip a payment for a month or so, just working with your vendors that way.
And store as much cash in your savings account as it comes in. Okay, make sure you have X for payroll. If you don't have payroll right now, you still put as much money in as you can. You can put away because they're going to come back.
Yes.
The employees are going to come back. The kiddos are going to come back. There's no question.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I think one of the things that you were really telling me is just to anticipate that even though it might appear right now like, okay, I'm bringing this much in, be ready. So really just keep that cash right now. Don't, just really hold on to that cash. So a lot of my viewers probably don't have P&Ls. They probably don't even know what it means to have a vendor list. So can you break that down? And like, if they don't know what a vendor list is, if they don't know, what was one of the other?
Come on, you guys, you can order a drink at Starbucks. You can handle this.
Okay?
Right? All right. So your vendor list is obviously everybody you pay, right? Your suppliers, your Costco, whatever. So go down that list and say, do I really need to spend money on any supplies this week? Can I push it to the next week? Do I need to buy meals out for my staff or anything like that? Meals, that's eating your business. You don't need to spend money on meals. That's a whole different strategy. But it's cash flow, so you're buying cash, okay? You're saving anywhere you can, and you're storing that cash in a savings account. And you'll stretch out this whole process for a lot longer by doing those steps. Like I said, unemployment, go for it right away.
Right.
Don't be embarrassed to even file, or go online, SBA.gov. There is a disaster relief. Their site was down as of yesterday, but we've all filled out the applications and everything, hoping to hear back from someone. So, we're all doing it together.
Well, I guess the way that you've trained me to look at it is I'm preparing as if I'm not going to get any relief, but I'm going to actually try and get it just in case. But we still cannot rely on that, right? We need to prepare as if we're not going to get it.
Yeah, and I'm hearing different things from different directors and owners about their families. Some of the families are working with them, and everybody's working together. So stay in touch with your families, stay in touch with your staff, keep everybody up to speed what's going on. If they're still working from home, ask them if they can continue paying the tuition and hold that spot. If they're not coming back and they know they're not coming back, please let you know so that you can go to your wait list and grab another family. They're hesitant to come on right now. That's okay, but it's business as usual. If you only have 50 kids and you're used to 100 and something,
right.
Business as usual. Keep going.
Right. And one of the things I've been telling my audience too is don't pull back on being present in your communities.
Yeah.
We may not be actively looking for clients, but there are other things we can do. Like if you have a community Facebook pages, post things for the children to do that are stuck at home. Post active, but you want to be visible. Make sure your brand is out there. Make sure that you're supporting your community. Make sure people are still seeing you.
Yes.
Because like we talked about, and let's actually transition to the 70% of childcare, the NAEYC, the National Association for Education of Young Children, which is the biggest organization for my industry, came out with a study that 70% of childcare centers are not going to make it past this. And so I know that's awful and unfortunate, but we need to think about that. So that means that all the children that were in those centers are going to be looking for care when this is over. So we need to stay visible through all of this, right? We need to make sure that people know, because like for me, I'm not going to rely on my wait list so much because I don't know how many of those parents are also not going to have a job. So we need to just really stay in the market, make sure that we're the first people that the families think of if their center closes down.
That's a good point. You want them to say, oh, I need daycare. Immediately think of you.
Right.
In your area. Get ready. Get ready to come back stronger than ever. Work on your foundation. Work on, sit down and write down all your dreams and goals. I know everyone talks about dreams and goals, and that's where we start. We want you to achieve those dreams and goals, and we want to help you get there. So,
and make sure you're doing it for your business and your personal, so you know why you're doing it in your business, because of your personal goals and dreams.
Yeah. And then write down all your pain points and start attacking them one at a time, so that when you come back, you have a stronger foundation, very well-run center, very organized, very efficient, and you're building cash flow. You're building a way to grow. to grow your business and be efficient at it.
Right.
So,
well, and now's a good time when you're talking about what you refer to as your needle in a haystack, which is what Christine was talking about with reviewing your expenses. Now is a good time to put some of that into permanent practice.
right.
I know we're talking about doing this on a temporary basis where, we're looking at like, what can we shave off, but also think about what can I permanently get rid of? That way, when you do come back, you're coming back stronger and have a healthier business.
Yeah,
Right.
your business, that's right.
A lot of time dues and subscriptions, the same, two different apps are doing the same thing. So
Right.
can this app do both of those jobs and get rid of one versus?
Or there might be memberships we forget. I know personally that's a problem I had where when I started working with you on doing this process, I decided to take it to my personal life. And I couldn't believe how many subscriptions I was paying for that I forgot and I wasn't using.
Not only that, you took the whole financial side that we were working on, and you let that flow right into the operations side.
I did.
And that's when
That's
you
a good
and I
point. Yes.
came together and said, we need these sides of the business to work hand in hand
Right.
together. And
Yes.
we figured out how to do that.
So, and that is actually a really good point I had not thought about is when Christine taught me this when it comes to financials, part of what I teach now is I took what she taught me in financials and I transformed that into center management.
Mhm.
How you manage everything in your center, your program management, your office management tasks, your classroom management. I basically created an entire system that my entire preschool runs. Christine, it looks like there's another.
Arlene's saying that she is making videos to post on public Facebook page with messages for our children and their families.
That is fantastic. Staying in touch is super important. But Arlene, if you take that even a step further and go into like where you're advertising, but you're not advertising. Just think of it as branding. We're not actually advertising because right now it can seem insensitive, but we're branding. We're putting our brand out there. So that is really important.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and the main overall message I want to tell you guys is we will survive this if we are proactive and we do this in place. None of you guys watching have to be a part of the 70%. We don't have to be a part of that 70% as long as we really just take charge right now. We have to be the leaders in our space.
Yes.
So let me see. Oh, one of the other things we were talking about is contacting our landlords, and even in situations as a mortgage. So do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Or just that, I would reach out and just say, can I, delay payment for 2 months, add it on to the end, whatever. Can we make it up in a different way later? Maybe adding an extra $100 a month in the recovery phase. You know,
Right.
It's all doable, you guys. It's all doable, and people will work with you because they're in the same boat.
Right.
Exactly.
So I do have a letter that I've written that I will post for everybody that you can actually email it. Just my recommendation though is read it and make it your own. Just go through, use it as a template. You can either mail, email. Email would probably be the best right now. What about mortgages? Is that an option? Like, can they call and do maybe an interest-only mortgage? Is there something for those of them out there that are watching that have mortgages?
What is wrong with just asking?
Right.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
So ask
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, and every lender is going to be different. One might work with you more than another.
Right.
Fees, all that stuff. I would assume that hopefully they would add it to the end, but,
Right. Okay,
but
so
I'm sure each lender is going to be
And
different.
we've done that. We've asked all of our clients to call us if their doors close, and we postpone invoicing at that point in time.
right.
So, and then we're working our way to how do we sustain while this is happening. And so
Right.
it's just all of us are doing the same thing.
We're all in the same boat. So most lenders right now are pretty. I know I've called with like my van payments and whatnot, and usually I approach it as either can I do a deferment or interest only payment.
Or suspend.
Yeah. Okay. A suspend too.
Suspend
That's
is
a
good.
Didn't you go online and you were able to suspend something online? Did they have an option?
When I was looking into the car,
Okay.
yeah,
nice.
they did. The car they didn't charge any fees.
Mhm.
That's nice.
Mhm.
And I know that and Chase charges bank fees, if you don't keep a certain balance in there.
Yes.
And they've told us that they will waive all their fees as well. And I don't, so the other banks will probably be doing that as well.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So one of the things that when we were talking that you brought up, and which kind of I'm a little embarrassed to say I had not thought about, was during this time the things that we can take advantage of. And you brought up spending time with your family. So I think we should talk about that a little bit because my center, as you guys know, is still open. So I've been working a lot, and it's not something that's really crossed my mind. So I think we should touch on that a little bit just to make sure that we are nurturing ourselves, nurturing our families.
Well, you guys work in your business all the time.
Right.
You know, we do too. And it's that life balance is really hard for a lot of business owners. So I would encourage you to say, you know what, I've got this time now. I don't have as many kids to deal with, or any. If you're closed, go schedule some time with your family. They're home.
Yeah. Right.
It says hi all.
Hi, Corey. Is that Corey, I think?
Yeah.
Yes.
Corey
Hi,
Bird.
Corey. Corey's actually in a unique situation. She's with a nonprofit, and nonprofits do not get unemployment.
Okay.
And so I know, Corey, I was reading the legislation that's coming out, and everything is changing daily. But as of yesterday, they were trying to put something in that does actually cover the nonprofits for unemployment.
Right.
But again, that hasn't.
And that's individual. I mean, are you sure she's not paying in?
Well, I don't know, but I know that I've had, and not Corey specifically, but I've had other nonprofits that have been messaging me that are not. I don't know for her situation.
Because we have a nonprofit, and they do pay in, and they are getting it.
So that's a good message then. So if you're in a nonprofit, make sure you're not. Don't assume that just because you're a nonprofit that you're not paying in. You may actually be. So that I didn't know that. That's actually good to know. So, but yeah, I know if we get this legislation passed, once it's passed, we'll be able to bring more information. But that is something they were proposing.
Right.
So I know there's a lot of church-based centers out there. And they've been really nervous because if they lay their staff off, their staff is pretty much, they don't get anything. So, and especially as an administrator, if you're making a pretty healthy salary as a director and suddenly you don't have your job and you don't qualify for unemployment, that can be very, very scary. Yeah. So definitely something for the future to look into. Maybe it's worth paying in anyway. Maybe, now is a good time to assess those policies you have, because that is a good time to really just kind of shift.
I also think it's a good time for all of us to have a contingency plan. Absolutely. Most of us weren't prepared for that either.
None of us expected a pandemic. Right.
We don't have our capes in our telephone booth either.
Right, exactly. No, I totally agree. I definitely feel more prepared if this was 6 or 7 years ago, I probably wouldn't have survived this. But, thanks to working with you guys and the team that we now, have established, I know I'm going to make it, which is a really great feeling. And even if it's just having that support, and I can tell you my husband asks all the time, why do you still keep them on? Why do you still, you don't need coaching? And I'm like, I'm going to need coaching forever. I need that. I just need the accountability and I need the support. It just really, and I know me, I know I don't like going into QuickBooks and doing my own so I'll end up letting it back up so bad that, I've got to have that help. So yeah, I think those are just really important things do you guys have anything else that you can think of about the legislation changes? But in terms of managing teams right now, that is a tough, for centers that are still open, the pressure is so high. And one of the situations I'm dealing with is I want to make sure I'm taking care of my staff. I want to honor my staff and make sure that they feel safe. And there is a portion that hasn't felt safe. So I've let them choose. I did tell them if they want to do a voluntary layoff, I'm totally fine with that. But then it does get you into a position where hours are tough. So at what point do we have to really be careful of that?
You know what I would recommend? We have regular meetings all the time, and we try to keep everybody on the same page. And if we're not on our Friday staff meeting, we're talking on the phone. It's the communication. I would pull everybody together and just calm everybody down and let everybody share what they're feeling. Let them get it out. That kind of thing. You have strict laws about how many children per person, so you got to have the body. So owners, directors, you're going to have to step into the classrooms, areas to take care of things.
Well, and even when it comes down to cutting our payroll, I mean, if like with the expenses, if you look at your expenses and the money's just not there, that may be a time where you do have to lay someone off and step into a classroom. So right now might be that time where you've really got to look at that. And I know it's one of the hardest things that I've had to do in years was, you know, even though I asked for voluntary layoffs and I didn't have to force any, it was still incredibly difficult to come to my center the next day and know that a couple of my staff were laid off. But it's one of those things where right now we have to be in a mindset of we need to protect our business. That is the most
and work together.
Yes, we need to work. Yes, and being transparent and honest with your staff and tell them, like, you know, I hate to do this, but right now I'm protecting your job overall. I'm protecting the children we care for, and this is what I've got to do. We have to do those hard things right now in order to protect our business and our families.
Well, and as a leader, keep up to speed with what's going on. Be in the know, because that way you can tell them, you know, hey, I didn't want to lay you off. You know, I had to lay you off, but here's how I'm going to help you.
Right.
Okay, so they need that leader, and they need that support too.
Well, and speaking of how we're going to help them, one of the things that we did was we literally let them file for unemployment on our computers. We sat with them, we helped them. If they didn't know how to do it on their own, we actually actively were helping them file. And then whatever they needed, we were able to pull immediately. And it's just that support to let them know. The other issue is they were really scared of, when am I coming back? Will you bring me back? So having those conversations, just being able to just tell them, every one of you is coming back. You know, I love my team. You guys are coming back. I can't tell you when. I mean, I don't know. I know in Nevada here, they put us on a 30-day lockdown, but we don't know. Will they extend that? We don't know. And so I did reassure them. And the other thing we're doing is my staff has a private Facebook group. I am making videos for them. I go on there and just make videos so that they're hearing from me, they're seeing me, they know that, you know, that I'm thinking about them, and I'm just keeping them up to date with what's going on internally. So,
that's nice. That's
yeah,
really
just
good.
really, I'm trying to be there for them. So, do you guys have anything else that you can think of to add?
We covered a lot.
We did. And if anyone has any questions, go ahead and ask in the comments. And I'll give you guys a couple seconds. And you guys, as you know, sometimes my comments don't pop up in live real time. And I'm going to try and pull them onto my laptop.
So, yeah, we missed one that was, I think it was more of a statement, but.
Okay. That's fine. I'm going to try and pull it up. And then, so while I'm pulling this up, I'm just going to tell you, Christine has a pretty exciting offer for you guys. And it's really one of the things that's wonderful about their business is that they always come from a place of service, and they really have just hearts. And Christine and I talk all the time about how we're both teachers at heart. And so we really just, through both of our businesses, we really just want to help people. We really want to be there. And right now in the current culture, we really, really just want to help you guys. So do you want to tell them a little bit about your offer that you're doing right now?
Yeah, I am an educator at heart. I mean, I'm very passionate about it, and I am in the accounting profession, so you figure that one out. But, I'm offering the whole month of April to help you guys with a free 2-hour consultation to go over your financials and just have conversations about your numbers, and maybe some suggestions and things that you can do, or any training that you need to use QuickBooks or whatever you're using to access, read reports, whatever you want to use that time for. It'll be first come, first serve, obviously. I can only do about one business owner a day. I'll try to do more. If you want to reach out to Evelyn, and then she'll get you connected to us and get you on the calendar, and we'll just have a really good time running our numbers together.
Okay, so we do have a question from Arlene. Is it better to apply for the SBA loan or to wait and see exactly what it is in the relief package? Debt scares me. I can give props to Christine and Christina.
Well, you have to do what's comfortable. I say look at every opportunity and then weigh it, what you want to do. If you have more opportunities with the relief package and you don't have to go into debt, that's great. If you can get yourself a line of credit and just let it sit there and be available if you need it. That's great too. So just position yourself with opportunity.
And that's how I'm looking at it. I applied for it because I figured even if I don't use it, but the money is just sitting there, that is pretty much how just in case of an emergency.
In that case, a line of credit would be better.
Okay.
Because you can still use the line of credit in the future, right? It's not just this ongoing loan. It's a line of credit that says, oh, I'm going to be short on payroll this month or this week, and so I can borrow from that, and then I get my money in and I put it back. And so it's more revolving, more flexible.
So if we don't need it, but it's just a safety net, we are better off going for a line of credit than this SBA loan. Okay, good to know. So Arlene, does that answer your question?
Arlene, we can talk next week.
Let's see, and then Corey's got a note about the something in the stimulus package for small businesses that keep all their employees. Yes, and Corey, so that's something I'm going to really research. I actually do have a call later today with a state official, and we're talking about how I've been reaching out to a lot of different state officials, and I basically asked them to help me come up with resources on the federal and state level that will help us as business owners understand what's out there. So I do have that meeting with her today. She's going to help me put together some resources that I can provide to you guys that's going to help us interpret and understand. And one thing to understand is the legislation is changing so fast right now. It is, so it's really hard for us to answer these questions. I mean, even like you guys have seen a lot of the posts about the bill that's out there, but it still hasn't passed. And that's something that's important to remember. So all this information flowing around social media isn't accurate because it hasn't even passed yet. And so until it passes, we really don't know what's out there. We don't know what kind of relief, if there is going to be relief. I mean, they've got to come to an agreement before there even is relief. And so we don't know really what's out there, but every state also, you guys have something different. So I would definitely contact your licensing rep. They're going to be your best bet. Or if there's any kind of advocacy group, if there is an NAEYC chapter in your state, contact them because they're really on the forefront of all this. Childcare Aware might have some specific state information, but as soon as the federal stuff comes out, I will post it. And then for my people here in Nevada, I will post also. But it is a tough one right now. So yeah, just be careful with the stuff that's coming out on the stimulus package right now because it hasn't, unless it's passed since we've been in this meeting.
Yeah, we don't want to spread false rumors.
Right. And nothing's out there yet. So we just, until they pass, I know it was going to the House.
They actually tell us how we sign up for it.
Then we know. Right. It's going to the House today. So let's just hope it makes it through the House today. If it makes it through, then we'll know. Makes it through without all the added things that are going to be on our children's shoulders for the rest of their lives. So any other questions? And also for Christine's offer, if you guys want to either message me or just in the comments write your information. I'm going to need your email address, or if you want to message me, you can give me, what are you going to want from them? Like email, phone number?
Yeah, and then an appointment on our calendar, and we go from there.
Okay.
It will be an online meeting, obviously, because you guys are in different states. So.
Yes. So I would definitely take advantage of
and if anyone has extra toilet paper, I'd like to know.
I know, right? That's crazy. I actually bought my staff toilet paper. Cisco, we get Cisco deliveries.
I need to order through you because I can't find it anywhere.
Right? Yeah. So I ended up ordering a couple extra cases for my staff. Yeah, I did because my staff was going through that.
It's who you know.
Right? I got the toilet paper hookup. So let's see. I just had a comment coming. Can you see fingers?
It says fingers and toes, paws crossed.
Yes, I totally agree. Here every night, I'm a political junkie, so I'm actually, and I'm a nerd about it. I watch C-SPAN, and I like to watch them argue and stuff. So I'm right now screaming at my team like, "Get over yourselves! Just get us what we need. Just get us what we need. That's it. I don't care about all this other stuff." So yeah, we've really got to just pray, fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything right now, just that they can get past politics and past what we need. Mm-hmm. So if there's no other questions, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to have to get up and actually go turn this off. We hope everybody has a great day. You got it? Yeah. So just hit finish, and that's it.